This is a Sports Catastrophe production.
Hey there, Heather, hello there, it's Jeff Cutter and welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe on this day. And on this day, September 21st, 1973, the New York Mets played the Pittsburgh Pirates. And it was a tight game, to be sure, as the Mets won 10-2 and got themselves into first place in the very crowded NL East. It was very crowded. I'll tell you how crowded it was after this game, after I talk about this game. So the Mets played the Pirates 10-2 at Shea Stadium in front of 51,000 fans. And in 2 hours, 20 minutes, the Mets easily won 10-2. It's easy when you have guys like Tom Terrific, a.k.a. Tom Seaver, on the mound. The Pirates put Dave Cash at second, Dave Parker at center field, Al Oliver first base, Willie Stargell left, which was weird, him in the outfield, Reggie Hebner at third, Reggie Sisk right field, Milt May catching, Dal Maxwell shortstop, and Steve Blass, the guy that unfortunately had a baseball term named after him, Steve Blass syndrome, which is a good pitcher who started to lose control and lose everything. Rick and Keel had that. The Mets with Wayne Garrett at third, Felix Millan at second, Rusty Staub right field, John Milner at first base, Cleon Jones left field, Dave Steinach center, Jerry Grody catching, Bud Harrelson at short, and Tom Seaver pitching. The Mets went off fast. Cleon Jones with a 2 RBI double, and Jerry Grody with a 2 RBI double. It chased Steve Blass from the game, and he didn't even last 1 inning, as Chris Zachary had to come in. Seaver gave up his 2 runs on a triple to Reggie Sisk and Milt May's sac fly, making it 4-2 after 1.5 innings. The Pirates couldn't do anything about it. And then John Milner took Zachary deep in the bottom of the third, make it 5-2. Bud Harrelson with an RBI single to make it 6-2. John Moreland had to come into the game. Seaver was dealing from there. He had just 1 bad inning. Wayne Garrett took Bob Johnson deep, make it 7-2 in the 6th. And then in the 8th, Felix Millan had an RBI single off of John Lamb that scores Tom Seaver, and Rusty Staub drove him in with a home run. So the Grand Orange helped the Mets win 10-2, a big win for sure. So the Mets, that win goes to 77-77. You're thinking, hang on, the Mets are 500, so what? But can you imagine the NL East on this day? It's just like weird. Of course, this was actually the series in 1973 that there was a controversial home run hit by the Mets that either bounced off the top of the wall and went over, or it went over the wall on its own. But the Mets did beat the Pirates in that game. Yeah, so that when the Mets jumped ahead of the Pirates, half game up, where St. Louis 1 back, Montreal 1.5 back, and the Cubs 2.5 back. So when you look at the NL overall, like the Mets were 500. But Cincy, LA, San Fran, and Houston were all above them in the NL race, and they were playing in the same division, the NL West. Of course, it'd be weird if Cincy playing in the West, because Ohio's not that far west. But yeah, you take any one of those, even Houston, they would take first place in the NL East right now. So the Mets were looking pretty impressive. It was a September to remember. I mean, 5 teams all sucking at the same time, but yet they still have a chance to win the NL East and go to the NLCS. The Mets with that win got to 500 and never looked back. So yeah, Montreal had a chance even. That would have been funny if Montreal made it. Anyway, the Mets of 1973 were a ragtag bunch. They ended up winning 82 games out of 161 and actually winning the division. 3 games above 500. Man, the Blue Jays have had many years with 3 games above 500, and yet they didn't win a division. So it's like, what's going on here? Anyway, so the 73 Mets had Jerry Grody, John Milner, Felix Millan, Bud Harrelson, Wayne Garrett, Cleon Jones, Don Hahn, and Rusty Staub be the regulars. Man, the Expos must be regretting trading Rusty Staub to the Mets. They had Ed Kranepool still around from the 69 squad. Willie Mays, they picked up Willie Mays the previous year, and he played 66 games for the 73 down. Mets. Jim Fergozzi, of course, the Mets, for the want of a third baseman, traded away Nolan Ryan. Although I guess people didn't realize how good Nolan Ryan would have been. Ken Boswell was on that team. The pitching was good. I mean, it was a good pitcher. They had a rotation of Seaver, Kuzman, Matlack, George Stone, and Jim McAndrew. And all that. They would have Tug McGraw as their closer, Ray Sadecki as a good reliever, and also Buzz Capra. But yeah, 82 and 79, and you win the division? Like, what is going on? It just doesn't make sense. What's even more impressive was the 73 Mets actually took care of the Cincinnati Reds in the NLCS, winning Game 5. When the LCS was a best of 5, not best of 7. So the Mets had to go the distance, and then they faced the Oakland A's, who were the 72 champions, and took Oakland to Game 7. That was just amazing. Unfortunately, though, the Mets would lose that series in Game 7. So, man, it is the "you gotta believe" rallying cry by Tug McGraw. His "you gotta believe" made sure that the Mets were happy as can be, happy as lark, and all that. But yeah, the Mets would struggle in the 70s. You know, they traded away Tom Seaver because he wanted more money, and Dick Young, a sports writer, had something to do with it, I bet. But yeah, the Mets didn't get back to respectability till the mid-80s with their world title in 1986. Believe it. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond at Do.